Hello dental friends, I hope you're all well. I have a lot of stuff I want to say about rubber dams and I feel like it's a bit too much for one video, so I'm probably going to be separating it into a couple come the next few days. In fact, I'm actually planning on releasing one tomorrow, so best believe I've been editing like a madman this weekend. Rubber dam's one of those things where some people on this side of the spectrum just worship them and say they're the best thing since sliced bread and you're not an adequate dentist if you're not using them constantly. Then you have other people who are kind of like begrudgingly using them for root canals but don't really want to, you know. And I guess you have those who never use them even for root canals, and you know, you probably should, guys. The impression I get from most people is that they don't like placing it because it takes a lot of time, and to be honest, placing a good rubber dam which ticks all the boxes, moisture control, airway protection, it takes a long time. It does. There's also a lot of rubber dam police out there who would look down on hastily placed dams which don't have perfectly inverted margins or floss ties in the right place, or if you see a bit of gum poking through. But personally, I would argue there is definitely a place for an imperfect dam in general practice, and I'm going to explain to you in this video why I think that. I decided last night there's two different types of dam. First of all, you have your Gourmet rubber dam. These are the ones you see on Instagram, inverted margins, floss ties on every tooth, no moisture, it's drier than the Sahara, you know, those perfect dams. The other type is what I'm going to call a fast food rubber dam. These are the ones where they don't look pretty, they're on properly, so they're actually, there's no hole in it or anything, but you know, the dam might be caught under the clamp, for example, or you might see a tiny bit of gum poking through. You know, these are the ones that most people would be like, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's rubbish at rubber dam. You know, those sorts of ones. Just for the record, if the dam has a hole in it, then it's just rubbish. It's not a fast food rubber dam, it's just something you should probably take off and replace. And of course, the bonus third option is no rubber dam. I think a lot of dentists think that the option is either a perfect Instagram gourmet style dam or no rubber dam. And if you're going to place a rubber dam, it has to be perfect. Don't get me wrong, when I'm doing most treatments, that is what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for that gourmet style rubber dam. I'm aiming for something juicy to put on my Instagram, you know, especially when I'm doing something like a composite or a root canal where the moisture control is just essential. But in some cases, I will settle for a fast food dam. Let's say, for example, a patient comes in, and this is actually a real situation that happened to me, funnily enough. She's in agonising pain, she's young, so she's under 18, she presents with her mother. Take the histories, do the investigations, finally find a diagnosis, irreversible pulpitis. There is a language barrier there, so it takes you a little while to explain the options of extirpating to get the patient out of pain versus extracting the tooth. If the patient opts for an extirpation, by the time you've numbed up the patient, your nurse has gotten everything ready for an extirpation, you're basically 20 minutes into the appointment, you have maybe 10 minutes left to extirpate a lower 6. And for someone like me who's not very experienced, that is something that's still going to require a bit of time. In that circumstance, unless you're extremely experienced, a gourmet rubber dam is probably out of the question. So most people would just forget the rubber dam and just extirpate without it. But personally, I think this is a mistake. Putting a dam on imperfectly but adequately for the situation at hand is quick, and it's so much safer for the patient. Personally, I'm clumsy as shit, so I don't want to be putting a file anywhere near an open airway if I can help it. No thank you. The answer is a fast food dam. Sure, if I rush it and put on a fast food dam, it's not going to be pretty. The moisture control is not going to be perfect, but think about what you've gained. The moisture control is much better than it would be without any dam. The irrigation is much safer, so you'd probably be more comfortable using something like hypochlorite versus doing that without a rubber dam. And if you're clumsy like me, making that mistake of dropping a file or something horrible like that, it's just not going to happen. And personally, I like having those reassurances. I think the main message of this video is to try and encourage you to not shy away from putting on a rubber dam because you feel like it needs to be perfect. Think about what you actually want from that dam, and if putting it on imperfectly in a fast food style is something that will still be better than not having it at all, then put it on. In a lot of cases you can do it really quickly. That patient I mentioned earlier, I did put a rubber dam on that 6 and it took me 50 seconds to a minute, and this is someone who's not very experienced. Was it pretty? Absolutely not. But did it help me do my job better? Absolutely. So in that instance, I don't think there's an excuse for not using it. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. That's it from me today, guys. Quite a short one today. Tomorrow I'm going to be releasing a video on my fast food dam technique, which is how I essentially put one on really quickly when I just don't have time to make it perfect. This is how I did it for that extirpation patient. It's also how I did it during my OSCE in 4th year and how I managed to smash that station. I feel like it's going to be useful for some of you and I'm very excited for you to see it. If you enjoyed this video, then leave it a like, subscribe if you aren't already, and I will definitely see you tomorrow. Take care.